When we talk about creativity, we often think of it as one of the most uniquely human capabilities, something tied to imagination, emotion, and personal experience. For a long time, this belief shaped how artificial intelligence was perceived. Machines could calculate, optimize, and analyze, but they could not truly create. That assumption is now being challenged in a very fundamental way. AI-powered creativity and co-creation represent a shift from viewing AI as a tool for automation to seeing it as a collaborator in the creative process. At the core of this transformation is the emergence of generative models, systems capable of producing new content rather than simply analyzing existing data. These models learn patterns, structures, and styles from large datasets and use that knowledge to generate outputs that can resemble human-created works. What makes this particularly interesting is not just that AI can generate content, but that it can do so in a way that is interactive and responsive to human input. This interaction is what enables co-creation, where humans and AI work together in an iterative and collaborative loop. To understand how this works, it is important to consider how generative models represent creative domains. In text, models learn syntax, semantics, narrative structure, and stylistic patterns. In music, they learn rhythm, harmony, melody, and temporal progression. In visual art, they capture composition, color relationships, and spatial structure. These representations are encoded in high-dimensional spaces, allowing the model to interpolate between styles, combine concepts, and generate variations. This ability to explore the space of possibilities is what makes AI a powerful creative partner. One of the defining characteristics of AI-powered creativity is the shift from deterministic creation to probabilistic exploration. When a human artist creates, there is often a deliberate process guided by intent and experience. With AI, generation is inherently probabilistic, meaning that multiple outputs can be produced from the same input, each slightly different. This introduces an element of surprise and diversity that can inspire new ideas. The human creator becomes a curator and director, guiding the process, selecting outputs, and refining them. In practical terms, co-creation often takes the form of iterative prompting and refinement. A user provides an initial idea or constraint, the AI generates a response, and the user evaluates and adjusts the input. This loop continues until the desired result is achieved. The efficiency of this process depends on how well the user can communicate intent and how well the model can interpret and respond. This dynamic interaction is fundamentally different from traditional creative tools, where the user directly manipulates the output. Here, the user guides a generative process. In the domain of filmmaking, AI-assisted workflows are beginning to reshape how content is produced. From script generation to storyboarding, visual effects, and even editing, AI can assist at multiple stages. A creator might start with a narrative idea, use AI to generate a script draft, then generate visual concepts for scenes, and finally create rough animations or sequences. While full automation of high-quality film production is still a work in progress, the ability to rapidly prototype ideas is already changing the creative pipeline. It lowers the barrier to entry and enables smaller teams to produce content that previously required large budgets. In music composition, generative models can produce melodies, harmonies, and entire arrangements based on input conditions such as genre, mood, or tempo. Musicians can use these systems as a source of inspiration, generating variations and exploring directions that they might not have considered. The role of the artist shifts from composing every note manually to shaping and refining the generated material. This does not diminish creativity, rather, it expands the space of possibilities and accelerates the creative process. In writing and literature, co-writing tools powered by AI are becoming increasingly sophisticated. These systems can assist with drafting, editing, summarization, and style transformation. A writer can use AI to overcome writer's block, explore alternative phrasings, or develop complex narratives. The AI can maintain consistency in tone and structure, while the human author provides direction, intent, and critical judgment. This collaboration can be particularly valuable in long-form content, where maintaining coherence and pacing is challenging. One of the most interesting aspects of AI-powered creativity is the blending of modalities. With multimodal generative models, it is possible to move seamlessly between text, images, audio, and video. A single idea can be expressed in multiple forms, and each form can influence the others. For example, a story can be turned into a visual scene, which can then inspire a musical composition, creating a rich, interconnected creative process. This convergence of modalities opens up new forms of expression that were previously difficult to achieve. However, the integration of AI into creative workflows raises important questions about authorship and originality. When a piece of content is generated through collaboration between a human and an AI, who is the creator? The human provides intent and direction, while the AI contributes patterns learned from existing data. This challenges traditional notions of ownership and intellectual property. It also raises concerns about the use of training data, especially when models are trained on works created by other artists. Another challenge is maintaining quality and coherence. While generative models can produce impressive outputs, they can also generate inconsistencies, artifacts, or content that lacks deeper meaning. Human oversight is essential to ensure that the final result meets the desired standards. The creative process becomes one of selection, refinement, and integration, rather than direct creation from scratch. Bias is another factor that must be considered. Since AI models learn from existing data, they can inherit biases present in that data. In creative contexts, this can influence style, representation, and content in subtle ways. Addressing these biases requires careful dataset curation, model design, and user awareness. From a technical perspective, enabling effective co-creation requires advances in model controllability. Users need to be able to guide the generation process with precision, specifying constraints, styles, and objectives. Techniques such as conditional generation, fine-tuning, and reinforcement learning are used to improve controllability. User interfaces also play a critical role, as they determine how easily creators can interact with the system and express their intent. Another important aspect is feedback integration. In a co-creative system, the model should be able to learn from user feedback, adapting its behavior over time. This can be achieved through mechanisms such as preference learning or interactive training. The goal is to create systems that become more aligned with individual users, enhancing the collaborative experience. Looking at the broader impact, AI-powered creativity has the potential to democratize creative expression. By lowering technical barriers, it enables more people to participate in artistic activities. Someone without formal training in music or design can still create meaningful content with the assistance of AI. This can lead to a more diverse and inclusive creative landscape. At the same time, it may also disrupt traditional creative industries. As AI tools become more capable, the demand for certain types of manual creative work may decrease, while new roles emerge that focus on directing, curating, and integrating AI-generated content. Understanding this shift and adapting to it will be important for professionals in these fields. Another emerging trend is the use of AI in collaborative environments where multiple humans and AI systems work together. In such settings, AI can act as a mediator, facilitator, or contributor, helping coordinate ideas and generate content in real time. This creates new forms of collective creativity, where the boundaries between individual contributions become less defined. Ethical considerations also play a significant role. The ability to generate realistic content raises concerns about misuse, such as deepfakes or misleading information. Ensuring responsible use of creative AI tools involves implementing safeguards, establishing guidelines, and promoting transparency. In conclusion, AI-powered creativity and co-creation represent a fundamental shift in how we think about the creative process. By transforming AI from a passive tool into an active collaborator, we open up new possibilities for artistic expression and innovation. From filmmaking and music composition to writing and multimodal content creation, the applications are vast and evolving. While challenges remain in areas such as authorship, bias, and control, the potential benefits are significant. The future of creativity is likely to be one where humans and AI work together, combining intuition and computation to explore new forms of expression and push the boundaries of what is possible.
If you find this video exciting, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. See you in the next AI for Beginners educational video.